The Tennessee Titans are regrouping after a tough loss to the Chicago Bears, in which they blew a 17-point lead late in the first half. Their second half collapse was driven by self-inflicted mistakes, most notably a costly pick six by Will Levis, which will likely go down as one of the season's worst interceptions. As a young, rebuilding team, the Titans are still finding their footing. While they've added veteran talent to remain competitive, Levis is still developing as a starting quarterback, and new head coach Brian Callahan is adjusting to his role, working to shape an offense that can consistently compete. The Titans were one mistake away from securing a key road win, but now they must focus on preventing a pattern of collapses. Despite the frustrating loss, there were some positives, particularly in the run game, which drew praise for its effectiveness. Levis, however, he struggled in the passing game, throwing for just 127 yards, while the Titans' rushing attack outpaced the passing game, a rarity in today's NFL. Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears both averaged over 5 yards per carry, with Pollard collecting 82 rushing yards and a touchdown, though Spears only saw limited action with 4 carries for 21 yards. The imbalance in workload between Pollard and Spears was unexpected, especially after the Titans spent the offseason planning for an equal split between the two. Head coach Brian Callahan expressed regret over Spears' limited involvement and acknowledged that he needs to be more integrated into the offense moving forward. As the Titans prepare for Week 2 against the New York Jets, incorporating Spears more consistently could give them a potent 1-2 punch in the backfield. If Spears can match Pollard's productivity, the Titans could find success with a balanced power-run offense to support Levis' development at quarterback. The Tennessee Titans made a bold move this past offseason by parting ways with franchise icon Derrick Henry, and they went ahead and signed Tony Pollard in free agency. Under new head coach Brian Callahan's offense, the plan was to pair Pollard with second-year back Tyjae Spears in a balanced 50-50 backfield split. However, that plan didn't show in Sunday's disappointing loss to the Chicago Bears. Pollard delivered an impressive performance, rushing for 82 yards and a touchdown on 16 carries. He scored the Titans' first touchdown of the season, capitalizing on excellent blocking from Dylan Randon, J.C. Latham, and Peter Skoronski on the left side. Pollard averaged 5.1 yards per carry, and Callahan leaned on his strong showing throughout the game. As a result, Spears saw limited action, receiving only 4 carries, but making the most of them with 21 yards and an average of 5.3 yards per. In the passing game, both Pollard and Spears were equally involved, each receiving 4 targets. Pollard caught 3 passes for 12 yards, while Spears hauled in all 4 of his for 11 yards. Callahan later acknowledged the need to maintain a more balanced timeshare between Pollard and Spears, which the Titans aim to implement moving forward. The Titans wasted an outstanding defensive performance. Not only did they shut down the Bears' run game, but they also kept constant pressure on rookie quarterback Caleb Williams and neutralized Chicago's veteran receivers. The defense limited the Bears' offense to just 148 total yards, and even those were hard fought. As this new-look defensive unit continues to gel, it's shaping up to be a formidable matchup week in and week out. Tennessee's defense was dominant and controlled the game. Without the pick six and blocked punt returned for a touchdown, Chicago wouldn't have even been able to make a comeback. Head coach Brian Callahan had this to say after the game on Monday: "If we just punted it on 1st and 10 every time, we might have won the game the way that we gave it away." And he wasn't wrong about that. Callahan is maintaining perspective despite the disappointing loss. While a season-opening defeat can raise concern, he understands the long road ahead and knows that things can change quickly. Instead of dwelling on the setback, Callahan wants his team to learn from their mistakes, but also to move forward, ensuring the negative energy doesn't carry into the next week. With a home opener against Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets approaching, the Titans have a prime opportunity to even their record and regain momentum. The defense, led by new coordinator Denard Wilson, performed well, holding the Bears to, like I said, just 148 yards of offense and no offensive touchdowns. Callahan's faith in his defense was evident, and he even spoke with Levis during the game, advising him to avoid forcing plays. Though the special teams mishaps, such as a blocked punt return for a touchdown, that cost Tennessee, punter Ryan Stonehouse still averaged an impressive 53.6 yards per punt. Callahan praised Levis for his resilience and communication, but stressed that knowing when to give up on a play is crucial, something the coaching staff is working on with him. Despite the Titans' defensive dominance, the loss allowed Caleb Williams to become the first #1 overall pick to win a Week 1 debut most since 2002, even though Williams only passed for just 93 yards. Looking ahead, Week 2 possesses a tough challenge against the Jets, who allowed the third fewest yards per game last season. The Titans will need Levis to build on his flashes of promise from Week 1 if they hope to avoid an 0-2 start. Chicago's defense clamped down on Tennessee in the second half, forcing 3 3-and-outs and blocking a punt that was returned for a touchdown. Levis and the Titans offense started slow but found their rhythm on the third drive, with running back Tony Pollard scoring a 26-yard touchdown in his Titans debut. Tennessee quickly added a field goal, followed by a 14-play, 73-yard drive capped off by a 17-yard touchdown reception. Chicago's defense sealed the victory when cornerback Jalen Johnson intercepted Levis on 4th down with 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. Will ended the game completing 19 of 32 passes for 127 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Caleb Williams went 14 of 29 for 92 yards with no touchdowns or interceptions. Despite the Titans' first half success, they will need to replicate that performance in Week 2 when they face off the Jets and Aaron Rodgers at Nissan Stadium. The Titans entered halftime with a commanding 17-3 lead, thanks to a dominant defensive effort, a solid running game, and Will Levis's touchdown pass. Chicago managed just 50 yards of offense in the first half and failed to convert on 3rd down, going 0 for 6. However, the second half saw a complete collapse by Tennessee, especially on offense and special teams. The Titans allowed 2 touchdowns, one on a blocked punt and the other on an interception returned for a score, leading to 24 unanswered points by the Bears. Tennessee's offense committed 3 turnovers in the second half. That's definitely not acceptable. Will Levis and the offense have to do a better job throughout the season on limiting turnovers. Initially, the Titans were efficient, rushing for 115 yards on 16 carries and totaling 179 yards of offense to build a 17-0 lead. They controlled possession for 18 minutes compared to Chicago's 11, but the offense stalled in the second half, managing only 65 yards, 4 first downs, and going 1 for 8 on 3rd downs. The once effective run game sputtered, gaining just 24 yards on 11. Levis, in his first game under new head coach Brian Callahan, likely had the worst outing of his 2-year career. While he connected for a touchdown, his performance was overshadowed by a lost fumble on a blindside hit and 2 interceptions. The most disastrous play came when Levis, while falling, attempted to toss the ball out of bounds, but instead threw it directly to Bears defensive back Tyreek Stevenson, who returned it 43 yards for the game-winning touchdown. Levis finished with a quarterback rating of 52.5. Calvin Ridley led the Titans receivers with 50 yards on 3 catches, but there were several miscommunications between him and Levis. Levis underthrew Ridley on a deep route, nearly resulting in an interception, and missed him on a deep sideline pass by throwing out of bounds. Another throw in the second half was misaligned, with Ridley running deep while Levis threw a back shoulder pass, indicating a breakdown in communication. The Titans were penalized 8 times for 50 yards, including 4 pre-snap infractions. Dealing with a knee injury sustained in late July, DeAndre Hopkins was limited to about 15 plays. Hopkins caught his only target for an 8-yard gain, extending his streak of consecutive games with a reception to 163, though he wasn't a significant factor in the game. As Hopkins regains his conditioning, his role is expected to grow, especially after leading the team last season with 75 catches for 1,057 yards and 7 touchdowns. Overall, this offense will have to perform much better throughout the season, especially when they go up against a New York Jets team that has a really solid defense. Will Levis has a ton of potential, and he has a ton of weapons that he can get the ball to. He just has to do so without forcing it and turning the ball over. That was the biggest problem in the game against the Bears. There was too many forced passes that led to turnovers, and 24 unanswered points in the second half is completely unacceptable. So hopefully the Titans look much better in their game against the Jets next Sunday. If you made it this far and you haven't already, make sure you go down below and you subscribe and you turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. Comment down below what you're looking forward to most for the season and what you thought about this game. Leave a like as well. I greatly do appreciate it, and I'll see y'all in the next one.